Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We talked of the national security strategy by the US, and that gives me an idea that why is it that India feels shy of publicizing its policy and strategy. As a matter of fact, this thing cropped up even in 1970s. There was a meeting going on, and Mr. Huxer had suggested that we should boldly publicize our security strategy, which most of the people objected, but General Manager was all for that. And I remember I was asked to prepare a note, and we prepared a note, but ultimately it was shelved, saying that we should not show it. As a matter of fact, as I wrote the other day, it's always better to be brutal, transparent, and frank. It's always better to strategize, and there are two reasons for that. You tell your friends that you are prepared, and you tell your enemies, look here, be careful. For every stone, you'll get a shot. And that's what actually happened when Government of India ordered a surgical strike. But if that surgical strike had been publicized, that our policy would be instant reaction, then that Pulwama episode would not have happened, and we would not have lost our lives of number of dedicated soldiers. The people, when they know that there is going to be an instant reaction, think twice unless they are willing to be sacrificed, and most of the people don't want to be sacrificed unnecessarily. But if you tell them, look here, you do something like this and we are going to wipe you out of the earth, that is enough deterrent. Now look at the practice being adopted globally. The Biden administration's new strategy very clearly states that China is the main systemic challenge, identifies Russia as an immediate threat, highlights a coming global struggle between democracies and autocracies. And all of these things are there that Washington has already been signaling for quite some time. But the document does reiterate and consolidate the US positions in a complex geopolitical environment. As a matter of fact, Americans have been very transparent. As a matter of fact, I would say they're the most transparent nation possible in the world, and that's because of the law. It's required by law to publish and bring it to the notice of the people, enemies and friends, what we plan to do. But that's not the only country which does it. China has its defense white papers and it brings them out regularly. Even the speech by President Xi day before yesterday was, in fact, nothing but a policy document. USA has brought out an integrated review in 2021. France has its strategic update. And if you remember, even Pakistan brought out one earlier this year. But India does not publish anything similar. I remember there was in 2004 an Indian Army doctrine. Our political leadership forgets that a comprehensive national security strategy document that addresses both internal and external priorities, that informs people that what are the challenges being faced for security, whether the security is from the economic front or the technological priorities, whether they are regional or global opportunities. That comprehensive document, it may not be hundreds of pages, just 20, 30-page document showing A. internal challenges, B. external challenges, C. economic challenges, and then technological challenges, then the priorities of the country and the regional opportunities which India can exploit and the global opportunities. Now that would add to the credibility of the Indian policy establishment. Now they are doing a lot. They send the mission to the Mars, they send it to the moon, the nuclear submarine, then the nuclear submarine fired missile, which was a great achievement. Indian made helicopters. But if that thing had been detailed, it would have consolidated and the people would have been looking forward to it. It enthuses people to know that government is working on the right track. Then somebody asked me once, I remember, when you publish a document, only those people who are really interested will read it. Let's be very clear. I remember a CEO of a multinational asked me that how do I keep a secret? I said, put it on the notes board. He was shocked. And I told him that the people don't read what's written on the notes board. Only those people read out to whom is of interest. So secret, the best kept secret is keep it open. As I say, if you keep a thing open, thieves will never steal it. But a locked door would always attract thieves. An open door would not. Because there might be something inside. Either there might be something inside to catch them, or there may be nothing worth stealing about. So this would enhance your thoughts. Secondly, that criticism, which is often leveled that the government is very, very afraid of dealing with the people and doesn't have the confidence of people, and the opposition attack on that, they would be whittled down. Now we cannot deny that the geopolitical situation in the world globally has changed. The world has changed dramatically, and especially in the last 30 years. The 3 decades that have passed have made things very open. Whether you hide it or you openly tell it, the foreigners would know it. Your enemies would know it. The only difference would be they may not know it comprehensively and they may get a lopsided figure. But if you think that you can keep hidden what you are doing, it's not possible. And secondly, we have got to see that the security concept has changed. The security can no longer be viewed only through the prism of conventional military power. As I said, there is cyber security, there is space security, there is economic security, and so on. The supply chain security, energy security, maritime domain, economic growth, all these aspects are very crucial components of a national security strategy. And when you do that, even the hackers will be careful. Look here, they are keeping a watch. Who knows, I might be caught. And that fear itself would be deterrent. The crisis engendered by the Ukraine war now has illustrated this very vividly. And if we don't learn from such experiences, then any hope of being a global power would be vitiated, would be destroyed. Now, the new concept has come up, there's weaponization of the global trade. China started it. But before that, US started it when it started imposing sanctions. Now, China with its one belt, one road policy has weaponized it. And, for example, I'll give you one example. The critical components such as semiconductors, can be held to ransom by strategic rivals. When the fuel, the gas, was put under the Russians, as a put on sanctions, the prices went down and India gained. But if we know that what part of our global trade can be turned against us, we will be more careful. Now, India has done very well to start seriously looking at creating a domestic semiconductor ecosystem. But if this had been thought of earlier, it would have been much better. Everybody is wiser after the event. But the policy document makes you foretell the events that might happen. That capacity to forecast. And I still remember one big achievement of the government was setting up TIFEC in India under the Department of Space and Science and Technology. TIFEC stands for Technology Information Forecasting and Assessment Council. And my organization, Chancellor Consultants, which was said by me, we conducted more than 50 technological assessments for the various technologies. That was a major achievement, and that's where I met Dr.Lamba, and all the big wigs of the space. And then, can you believe it? That has made India come out technology on the top. The similar endeavor is underway to revive domestic pharmaceutical APIs. But both these moves were in response to ties with China post-Galwan. If Galwan episode had not happened, we would not have thought going in for semiconductors or domestic pharmaceutical APIs. So if India is to live up to its international ambitions, it can't have an ad hoc approach to strategic issues. Till now, we are having had an ad hoc approach. The first time when the CDS was appointed Chief of Defence Services, that was the first systemic change. But then what happened? General Rawat died, and it took us more than a year to have a placement. That again shows that it is blind man's buff game. We are not consistent. I know the people can argue that having a pre-stated grand strategy give India context-specific strategic elbow room, but then there are always things which can be there, and you always have a right to change. Nobody is going to take you a court of law, say that you mentioned this in the strategy document, how can you change it? No. Every power that publishes its grand vision cuts corners when needed. We are not bound by that. We can change, we can alter, we can add, we can subtract according to the needs of the time and the geopolitical situation which is changing all the time. But not having a well-documented national security strategy is a bad advertisement. And let's not forget, perception is the most important part of any game, any power game. How people perceive you, how your friends perceive you, how your enemies perceive, how your people perceive you. This three-corner perception makes a country strong or just okay, solved. So if India wants to be Vishwaguru, it has to stop playing those games which are being played in India, which have no meaning. Strategize everything, all the critical sectors. Strategize them, prioritize them, and tell people and the world that this is what we are going to do, and these are going to be the milestones by which we will achieve the status of being the Vishwaguru. And if we can't do that, then be sure that there is something rotten in the state of Denmark. And that's not a happy sign. That only shows that we are not sure of ourselves. We are not sure of our aims. And that indeterminate, confusing state of affairs, A, reduces the enthusiasm of the people. B, gives a hazy picture, and people more often than not undervalue you. And in the war of perceptions, over strength is always better projected than the understrength. So my suggestion to the government was in 1970, then 84 to Raji, and now to Modi government. Come out openly, transparently, well-documented strategy for security of all aspects, internal, external, cyberspace, trade, supply chain, economy, and all other aspects. And that will make India great. Shining India, empty talks have no meaning. You have to show, tell. Even the children are taught in the nurseries, show and tell. Why should India not do it? That is the way to become the Bishop Guru. Thank you.